Friends, let's start the second part of the accounting terminology. Earlier we had discussed 5 terms. Now we are starting with the 6th term, goods. The items purchased for the purpose of sale. If a cloth dealer purchases cloth, it is goods for him. If a furniture dealer purchases furniture for the purpose of sale, it is a goods for him. And if a car dealer purchases a car, the purchase of the car by a car dealer are the goods because he is to sell those very goods. So items purchased for the purpose of sale and even raw material. Raw material are purchased for the purpose of conversion into finished product. After converting into finished product, the purpose of the manufacturer will be to sell them in the market. So ultimate purpose is the sale. So raw material is again called as goods. So friends, goods account as such we don't open in our books of accounts. When goods are purchased, instead of opening a goods account, we will open purchase account. When goods are sold, instead of opening a goods account, sales account will be recorded, sales account will be created, debit or credit we will discuss little later. And when we return the goods to the supplier and he has supplied the goods to us, goods were either inferior or not as per our specifications, so we when return the goods, that is called as purchases return. The purchases return also called as returns outward. Two names of the same account, purchases return account or returns outward account. So when we return the goods to somebody, purchases return account will be opened. Sales return, when customer returns the goods to us, are also called as returns inward account. Returns inward account or sales return account means the same thing, and the goods which are left at the end of the year is called as stock, and the one which is at the end of the year is called as closing stock, stock on 31st March. The same stock will be called as opening stock in the very next accounting year on 1st of April. So these 5 accounts will be opened in place of goods account. Goods account will not be opened anywhere in our accounting. Purchases account, sales account, purchases return account, sales return account, and stock which is left unsold at the end of the year called as closing stock. These 5 accounts will be prepared. Now after the goods, debtors. Debtor is a person to whom goods are sold on credit. Maybe the goods or maybe the services on credit. The person is called as a debtor. If we sold the goods to Nandini on credit, Nandini will be called as a debtor. If the goods were sold on credit to Sahajpreet, Sahajpreet will be called as a debtor. 2 or more than 2 debtors will be called as sundry debtors, or total debtors. Either sundry debtors or total debtors means the same thing. And the total amount due from from sundry debtors is called as book debts. That is called as book debts. Suppose from Nandini we are to receive rupees 4 lakh. From Sahajpreet we are to receive rupees 6 lakh. So then book debts will be 10 lakh. 4 plus 6, 10 lakh will be book debts. Debts as per books, the total amount receivable from sundry debtors. Debtors may be 2, debtors may be 10, debtors may be 20, any number of debtors. The total amount due from debtors will be called as book debts. Now, similarly, the person from whom goods or services are purchased on credit. Person to whom goods or services are sold on credit, and the person from whom goods or services purchased on credit. Suppose we purchase goods from Ashwin. We purchase goods on credit from Hariparanjan. These two persons are creditors. Similarly, 2 or more than 2 creditors will be known as sundry creditors or total creditors. Sundry creditors or total creditors means the same thing. After creditor and debtor, debit and credit. As we discussed earlier also, that account has 2 sides only, left hand side and right hand side. It may be account of a property, account of a person, account of expense, real account, personal account, nominal account, whatsoever. Left hand side and right hand side. These are the 2 sides of the account. Left hand side of the account is called as debit side, and right hand side of the account is called as credit side. And debit is abbreviated as DR and credit is abbreviated as CR. And these we have to write on the extreme. On the right hand side, extreme right side, credit, extreme left side at the top of the account, debit. And this debit and credit are derived from the Latin words debitor and creditor. Their first and last letters are taken to form this abbreviation, debtor and creditor. So, accept the left hand side and right hand side. There is no other meaning of debit and credit. It does not correlate anything with the debtor or creditor. It is only and only left hand side of the account will be called as debit side and right hand side of the account will be called as credit side. Nothing more, nothing less. After that, after debit and credit, capital and revenue. Revenue word has 2 meanings. One meaning is income. Another meaning is recurring. Occurring time and again, repeating. The things which arise time and again will be called as recurring, will be called as revenue. Here, when we are discussing the term capital and revenue, we are taking this meaning, recurring meaning, repetitive nature item only. The items which repeat every day, every week, every month, at least once in a year, not more than that, at least once in a year are called as revenue items. For example, if we paid rent we have to pay every month, this is called as revenue payment or revenue expenditure. Revenue payment or revenue expenditure. Salary, telephone bill, electricity bill, all these are the revenue payments. Then goods sold, this is our revenue receipt. Interest received, commission received, this is again revenue receipt. The expenses which repeat every year, every month, every day, every week are called as revenue. Okay, and the one which don't repeat every year are called as capital items. We'll discuss capital item. Okay. In the summary part, we have discussed that we prepare two types of summaries. Summary in the form of income statement or profit and loss account, and summary in the form of a balance sheet. The profit and loss account is prepared from revenue items only. All the revenue receipts will be credited, revenue receipts, and all the revenue payments will be debited, and resultant figure will be a profit or loss. Revenue items, recurring item which repeat every day, every week, every month, at least once in a year are called as revenue items. So revenue items we do record in profit and loss account, and this thing here must be concluded. Whatsoever the profit or loss we calculate every year in our business, for that we compare only and only revenue nature items, revenue receipts on one side, and revenue expenditure, revenue payments on the other side. Now, capital items of non-recurring nature, which don't repeat every year. Purchase of land for the business, purchase of building for the business, purchase of machinery for the business. These payments made for these purposes are called as capital expenditure. Because these are of non-recurring nature. These don't occur time and again. Those don't repeat. Those don't arise time and again. And capital nature payments are assets. So capital expenditure on the asset side of the balance sheet. So machinery is our asset, building is our asset, land is our asset. So capital expenditure is our asset. Here I want to conclude one thing for my further point. The next point I have to discuss: all payments of non-recurring natures are our assets. I am repeating: all payments of non-recurring nature are our asset. This point we have concluded. Okay, for the discussion purpose of my next point also. And Capital receipts. Capital receipts are liabilities. Raised a loan from bank. The cash we received from a bank. This is a receipt of non-recurring nature. Time and again, we don't have to receive this money. Every year, every month, every day, we don't receive the loan. So, capital receipts, revenue receipts. Revenue receipts on the credit side of profit and loss account, and capital receipts on the liability side of the balance sheet. Similarly, revenue expenditure in profit and loss account on the debit side and capital expenditure on the asset side of the balance sheet. Ultimately, there are four things only: to revenue, to capital. Revenue item will be recorded in profit and loss account, and capital item will be recorded in the balance sheet. So here this is the meaning of capital and revenue. Revenue means recurring, capital means non-recurring nature item. That may be capital expenditure, that may be capital receipt. Now, assets. Assets are the property of the business. Property of the business. That is called as assets. And assets are categorized into three parts: non-current assets, second, current assets, and third one is fictitious assets. Fictitious assets. Non-current assets, also called as fixed assets, also called as long-term assets. Long-term assets. And current assets are short-term assets. Short-term assets. Non-current assets. When we are to discuss non-current, also called as fixed assets, it has two features. The items purchased not for sale. If a businessman purchases computers, a businessman purchases machinery, a businessman purchases furniture, he does not purchase computers, machinery or furniture for the purpose of sale. For selling purpose, he is to sell goods only. These items he is not to sell it. So the items purchased not for sale but for its usage in the business. One feature. And second feature is from which benefit is derived over a longer period. When it is a longer period, that means more than 1 year. These are used for more than 1 year. Computer purchase 3, 4, 5, 6 years depends. Machinery purchase 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, all depends on the type of the machinery. Similarly, furniture we use for many years. So the items purchased not for the purpose of sale and from which we derive a benefit over a longer period are called as non-current assets, fixed assets or long-term assets, and these are few examples. You could add land, building, computers, motor vehicles, etc. of the business. These are the examples of non-current assets. Now we come to current assets. Current assets. Current assets, cash, or which can be converted into cash. Which can be converted into cash. Into cash. Original definition is as soon as possible. As soon as possible. This is the original definition. But the authors have defined this as soon as also, that is within a period of 1 year. Within a period of 1 year. Otherwise, as soon as possible, you can take any meaning of the word as soon as. Week, a month, 6 months, whatsoever, but within 1 year. So cash in hand, cash lying at office. Cash in hand or cash lying at office means the same thing. This is one of the current assets. Cash lying at bank. Lying at bank. This is again one of the current assets. Debtors to whom you had sold the goods on credit, on a credit of 2 months. After 2 months, those will be converted into cash. So debtors is a current asset. Stock of goods in which you deal the product. This is again meant for sale. Immediately you try to convert it into cash. So these are few examples of current assets. Few examples of current assets. Now I discuss with you two branches of the assets. Firstly, one branch of non-current assets, which is a wasting asset. This is one branch of the non-current asset. Minerals, mine, oil wells. These are say two examples of wasting assets. These are the assets. If we start producing something out of this, if we start extracting minerals out of mine, if we start extracting oil out of the well, these will ultimately exhaust, these will ultimately deplete. The word used is deplete, exhaust, come to an end. Mine will be of no use once the 100% minerals are extracted. Once the whole of the oil is extracted from the well, that is of no use, that will be of no use. So these are the wasting assets. If we don't extract the minerals, it will remain, its value will remain as intact. But when we start extracting minerals out of the mine, we start extracting oil from the well, it goes on wasting, its value goes on reducing. Okay, that is called as wasting asset. And wasting asset is also a fixed asset, long-term asset, one branch of non-current assets. Similarly, one branch of current assets, that is liquid assets. Liquid assets. By liquid we mean cash or near cash. Near cash. Almost cash. Almost cash. Cash in hand. This is liquid asset. Cash lying at bank is a liquid asset. Okay. Marketable securities. Marketable securities. Securities here we mean the shares, debentures, etc. Let us suppose take the shares. The shares which can be sold immediately, which can be marketed immediately in a day or so. we get the payment, we get cash in hand or cash at bank. Those securities, those shares are called as marketable securities. So in a day, this will be converted into cash, or in 2 days it will be converted into cash. Similarly, gold, if any business is having gold, this is again liquid asset. Anytime you can sell the gold. You don't have to wait for selling the gold. These are few examples of liquid assets. Now let me distinguish between current assets and liquid assets and try to judge it from my statement. All liquid assets are current assets. All liquid assets are current assets because it is one branch of current asset. All these current assets, liquid assets are current assets. But all current assets may not be the liquid assets. All current assets may not be quite nearer to cash. For example, debtors may make us the payment after 11 months. Stock of goods, we may not be able to sell it, we may not be able to convert it into cash for any reason, due to change in technology, due to change in fashion, whatsoever reason. This is not easily convertible into cash. So these are the current assets, but these are not the liquid assets. Liquid asset means which is almost equivalent to cash or cash equivalents. So that is the difference between the liquid assets and current assets. Now we come to the third category of assets, which is fictitious assets. Fictitious means non-real. In reality, these are not the assets. These are not the property of the business. As these properties, we can sell, we can realize the money, we can get cash against those. Here against fictitious asset, we don't get any cash. What type of property it is? Which is unsaleable. Unsaleable, we are unable to realize any penny, any cash out of that. It is a non-real asset. Under some compulsion, under some accounting compulsion, we have to treat them as an asset. And in this point, capital and revenue point, when we were discussing capital items of non-recurring nature items are capital items. Okay, capital items, if there is a capital expenditure, that is our asset. So I am repeating the point I stressed in the last point. All the payments of non-recurring nature, are our assets. Okay? The payment which you don't repeat every year are our assets. And we write it on the asset side of the balance sheet. Now I give you two examples of fictitious assets. One is preliminary expenses. Expenses incurred before the formation of the company, before the formation of partnership. We wanted to start the company, we wanted to start the partnership. But before starting the business, before the commencement of the business, we incurred certain expenses, like we conducted the survey whether to start the business or not. We tried to prepare a feasibility report. Either this business is viable or not. Will it give us a profit or will it give us a loss? And some other expenses we incurred before starting the business. These expenses are called as preliminary expenses. Preliminary means prior. prior to commencement, prior to starting of the business, are called as preliminary expenses. Now the question is, what is the nature of this expense? Is it of revenue nature or it is of capital nature? Or either this expense is going to repeat every day, every month, every year, or it was incurred only once for all, not to be repeated in future. Okay? Its nature is capital nature. It is a capital expenditure. Because it is a capital expenditure, that is why it is an asset. Similarly, underwriting commission paid to the underwriters. Underwriters are the persons who give the guarantee to the company for the sale of the shares. When the companies offer the share to the general public, they always remain in doubt whether the public will purchase their shares or not. Their reputation may not be spoiled. Then they engage underwriters. Underwriters are the persons who give the guarantee to the company that you offer your shares to the general public. If public does not purchase your shares, we will purchase all your shares. And for giving such a guarantee to the company, they charge commission from the company. And that commission is called as underwriting commission. So my again question is, what is the nature of this commission? Whether this commission is to be paid every year, every month, because company does not issue the share every year. After 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years only, companies issue the shares. So that means this type of commission paid by the company to the underwriters is of non-recurring nature. This is a capital expenditure, and capital expenditure are assets. So just see, these are the expenses. These are not the assets. But under compulsion. What is that compulsion? It's a non-recurring nature. Had it been of recurring nature, these would have been recorded in profit and loss account. Because of its non-recurring nature, we can't carry these expenses to our profit and loss account. Because profit and loss account is prepared only and only from recurring item, revenue item. And these are not revenue item, these are not recurring item, these are non-recurring item. Non-recurring item is the capital item. Capital item means capital expenditure. Capital expenditure are assets. Because nothing can be realized from their sale. That is why these are called as fictitious, or these are called as non-real assets. Non-real assets. So these are the three types of our assets. Friends, if you have learned something out of this, please like this video, and if you have not subscribed so far, please subscribe. Thank you.